It's Good Friday, and we come to the cross again and again. We look around the world and we come to the cross again and again. And we wonder, when will it end? When will we no longer live in a world of poverty, war, violence, hatred, corruption, and greed? When can we stop coming to the cross? It is a fair question. It is an honest question. And it is a question that reveals our own personal desire, our own commitment to be at one with God and eschew all that demeans God's creation, all that hurts our planet, our siblings. But this is another year when we must come to the cross. But we do not come alone. So together, let us remember the story and find ourselves, our faith, and maybe even our hope in the story of the crucifixion of Jesus. went to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." And he took with him Peter and James and John and began to be distressed and agitated. And he said to them, I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake. And then going a little further, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that, if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me. Yet not what I want, but what you want." He came and he found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, "Simon, are you asleep? Could you not keep awake 1 hour? Keep awake and pray that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." And again he went away and prayed, saying the same words. And once more he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to say to him. He came a third time and said, "Are you still sleeping and still taking your rest? Enough! Enough, the hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up. Let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." And immediately while he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived, and with him there was a crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one that I will kiss is the man. Arrest him, lead him away under guard." So when he came, he went up to Jesus at once and said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. And then they laid hands on Jesus and arrested him. But one of those who stood near drew his sword and struck the slave of the high priest, cutting off his ear. And Jesus said to them, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me as though I were a bandit? Day after day I was with you in the temple teaching, and you did not arrest me. But let the scriptures be fulfilled." And all of them deserted him and fled. Then they took Jesus to the high priest, and all the chief priests, the elders, and scribes were assembled. Peter had followed him at a distance, right into the courtyard of the high priest, and he was sitting with the guards, warming himself at the fire. Now the chief priests and the whole council were looking for testimony against Jesus to put him to death, but they found none. For many gave false testimony against him, and their testimony did not agree. Some stood up and gave false testimony against him, saying, "We heard him say, 'I will destroy the temple that is made with hands, and in 3 days I will build another, not made with hands.'"
But even on this point, their testimony did not agree. And then the high priest stood up before them and he asked Jesus, "Have you no answer? What is it that they testify against you?" But Jesus was silent and did not answer. Again, the high priest asked him, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?" And Jesus said, "I am. And you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the power and coming with the clouds of heaven." And then the high priest tore his clothes and said, "Why do we still need witnesses? You've heard his blasphemy. What is your decision?" And all of them condemned him as deserving death. And some began to spit on him, to blindfold him, and to strike him, saying, "Prophesy!" The guards took him over, and they beat him. While Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came by, and when she saw Peter warming himself, she stared at him and said, "You also were with Jesus, the man from Nazareth." But Peter denied it, saying, "I do not know or understand what you're talking about." And then he went out into the forecourt, and then the cock crowed. And the servant girl, on seeing him, began to say to the bystanders, "This man is one of them." But again he denied it. And then after a little while the bystanders again said to Peter, "Certainly you're one of them, for you're a Galilean." But he began to curse, and he swore an oath, "I do not know this man that you're talking about." And at that moment the cock crowed for the second time. And then Peter remembered that Jesus had said to him, "Before the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times." And he broke down, and he wept. As soon as it was morning, the chief priests held a consultation with the elders and the scribes and the whole council. And they bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. And Pilate asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" He answered him, "You say so." And then the chief priest accused him of many things. And Pilate asked him again, "Have you no answer? See how many charges they bring against you." But Jesus made no further reply, so that Pilate was amazed. Now at the festival, Pilate used to release a prisoner for them, anyone for whom they asked. And now a man called Barabbas was in prison with the rebels who had committed murder during the insurrection. So the crowd came and began to ask Pilate to do for them according to his custom. And so he answered them, "Do you want me to release for you the king of the Jews?" For he realized that it was out of jealousy that the chief priests had handed him over. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd to have them release Barabbas for them instead. And Pilate spoke to them again. "Then what do you wish me to do with that man you call the king of the Jews?" And they shouted back, "Crucify him!" Pilate asked them, "What evil has he done?" But they shouted all the more, "Crucify him!" And so Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas for them. And after flogging Jesus, he handed him over to be crucified.
Mark's Gospel, chapter 15, verses 21 through 39. They compelled a passerby who was coming in from the country to carry his cross. It was Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. And then they brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of a skull. And they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him, and divided his clothes among them, casting lots to decide what each should take. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him. The inscription of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." And with him they crucified 2 bandits, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days? Save yourself. Come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests, along with the scribes, were also mocking him among themselves and saying, "He saved others. He cannot save himself. Let the Messiah, the King of Israel, come down from the cross now, so that we may see and believe." Those who were crucified with him also taunted him. When it was noon, darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. At 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of the bystanders heard it, they said, "Listen, he's calling for Elijah." And someone ran, filled a sponge with sour wine, put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink, saying, Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to take him down." Then Jesus gave a loud cry and breathed his last. And the curtain of the temple was torn in 2 from top to bottom. Now then a centurion who stood facing him saw that in this way he breathed his last. And he said, "Truly, this man was God's Son."
Good Friday. Guess we're not quite ready for Easter Sunday. Not ready for new life. But enough. I mean it. Not that, I've had enough. I don't mean that. I mean, this is enough. This day, this Good Friday, even without the resurrection, Good Friday is enough. At least it's enough for me. This week. This year. And not because I don't believe in new life and resurrection and second chances. It's just that because today, I mean, if I'm entirely honest, my head, my heart, my soul just doesn't seem to be filled with new life. No, it's filled with pictures of the victims of brutal, horrible war. War that I've not been able to stop. And it's filled with images and sounds of hatred, and hatred that I've probably contributed to at one time or another. My head is filled with the Strait of Hormuz and Gaza. My mind is filled with Ukraine and what happens when we look the other way all of a sudden. My heart is troubled by insecurity and fear about the future. Do I have enough to secure my future? I mean, not in luxury. I'm not full of teenage dreams anymore. No, I'm talking about a sustainable, reasonable future where my wife and I will have a roof over our heads and enough food, not be a burden on my children or my friends. I'm not full of teenage dreams. I'm full of aged angst. You know, I pray. I light candles sometimes. I pray every day. I pray hard. And sometimes it feels like my prayers fall on deaf ears. The world doesn't change and it doesn't pay attention. It's just like, I don't know, everybody's sleeping as I'm praying and I'm hoping so hard and they're not listening. I'm trying to do what I can to love a world that just seems to resist love. Why do I feel so alone at times? Like I said, today's enough for me. You know, Jesus prayed. In one gospel, it says that he prayed so hard that he bled. And still his friends fell asleep while he was praying, apparently unaware of what was really going on. I get that sometimes. Truth be told, I'm losing faith in the world. I'm feeling betrayed by the people that I trust. You know, I'm sickened by the cruelty of people that I thought I could respect. The greed and the ignorance. I'm not even sure who's on my side anymore. I really don't know. I mean, with AI, I don't even know who I can trust anymore. I mean, is anybody trustworthy? Are my old friends betraying me? Or is it some kind of trick? I mean, sometimes it's a scam. I know it is. And sometimes, though, it is real. The people who promised me so much, promised us so much, never had any intention of actually delivering. No, they were just shining us on, saying what they had to say so that they could serve themselves. Yeah. I'm betrayed by the life that once held so much promise. Yeah. Jesus stood there in the garden as his colleague and his friend, Judas, led soldiers to him so they could arrest him, carry him away. Jesus was betrayed. Yeah, I get it. You know, they tell me that we live in what's it called, a post-shame world. You know, politicians, they're not ashamed to lie, whatever, doesn't matter. Business leaders, they're not ashamed of naked greed and contempt for the public. No, not at all. But me, I'm still stuck with shame. I couldn't make a mockery of my faith, or yours, or anybody's faith. I can't bring myself to humiliate others, not for sport and not even to make a point that might seem important. I would be ashamed to do that. I used to think I was in the majority, the vast majority, frankly. I thought we all kind of thought that way, and I don't know. Maybe we are still in the majority. I hope so. But it doesn't seem like it anymore. It seems like people spend a lot of time mocking others and humiliating those with whom they disagree, misusing and abusing the very institutions that once made them safe, even great. Yeah. Jesus was taken to the home of Annas and then to Caiaphas in the dead of night, without due process of any kind, without any kind of support. There was nobody there allowed there with him. And then they created this mock trial, for they dared not have a real one. No, a real one would have been embarrassing. No, they had a mock trial. They fabricated stories. And the thing is, even then they found it hard to convict him. Even though they were making it all up, they were in charge, they still found it hard to convict him. The guards and the officers, they struck Jesus and they mocked him, all the while aware of his innocence. They knew what they were doing was deplorable. But other people were being deplorable too, so why not? They knew it was all a lie and a sham, and they went along with it. I would be ashamed. His closest followers were afraid and would not come to his aid. I would be ashamed. The general public became enamored with another trend, so they turned their attention and they released Barabbas. Yeah. In my world today, friends and allies are often too afraid to act. Yeah, the powers that be have done a pretty good job of frightening them. The masses, they're taken in by trends and, they're just distracted so easily. These trends distract them. Well, who are we kidding? They distract all of us. They distract us too from what is right in front of us. Yeah. Justice that needs to be served, not delayed, not relabeled, not reassigned, addressed. That's what it needs. But this is going on now. Wait, what about that? Nope, how about this? The story of the cross is the story that I need to hear today, especially today, because I'm really not ready for new life. Not yet. I need to deal with this one first. I'm not ready to make nice. I'm not ready to back down from my hurt, from my pain. Not yet. Jesus went to the cross. At least that's what we say. We say that. Jesus went to the cross. I think we say that because Jesus went into Jerusalem, rode into Jerusalem on a donkey of his own free will with a pretty good idea of what was going to happen when he got there. Yeah. He went to the cross. Well, because he refused to play nice. No, instead, he insisted on loving the world, loving all of the world. He refused to back down and take a deal or go away. I'm pretty sure that was on the table at one time or another, but no. Still, we say he went to the cross, but I would say that we put Jesus on that cross. There was no other place for him to go. Now, I'm no Jesus. Don't think for a second that I imagine that I am. But so much of what hurts my heart, what tries to rot my soul, doesn't really feel of my making. If I'm on some kind of a cross, I don't feel that I put myself, I don't think I went there. Not intentionally. I didn't do anything. Not on purpose, I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't start a war. I don't traffic in misinformation, never. I do not disrespect or disregard the lives, concerns of others. That's not what I do. I didn't create social media, the internet. I certainly didn't invent artificial intelligence. No, I didn't. And I don't think that I'm particularly obsessed with celebrity culture. I don't have any Bitcoin. No. It seems, however, that the world is trying to, sometimes draw me in, co-opt me, often get me to back down. The world invites me, makes it enticing even for me to care less about my neighbor and worry more about my security and that people are trying to steal it from me. The world seems to want me to focus on being entertained and back down from justice and love. Back down, they say, or we will put you on a cross, expose you, humiliate you, end your life even. And some days, I am ready to make nice. And I am tempted to back down. And I am ashamed of those feelings, but at least I'm not afraid. Sometimes shame feels better than fear. And then today happens. Good Friday comes along, and I realize that this journey that I'm on, it feels so isolating, so personal, so me. The feelings of frustration and fear and confusion, sadness, even despair, all of that are not mine alone. I didn't invent them. They're not unique to me. Jesus has been here too. Absolutely been here. And in Jesus, God has been where I am, feeling betrayed and beaten and even dead. And as I embrace the day, as I listen to the story, I realize that all of that isn't enough. God is here with me. And God will stay with me until we make it to Easter morning, till we come to that time for new life. God is here with me. God will stay with me even to the cross. And I don't know about you, but my world seems full of crosses these days. And so you know what? I dare not skip Good Friday, because I need to see Jesus on the cross. I really do. I need to not hide away or back down. I need to know that God is here with me, down here, and up there on the cross, on whatever cross might await me. And it doesn't matter what greed, corruption, inhumanity, cruelty, war, even death might try to do to me. God is with me, and God has the final word, always. Nobody but God gets to tell me who I am. Nobody but God gets to tell me how to love, how to forgive, and who I can forgive and who I can't. Nobody gets to tell me, only God. And I can trust God's promise that God is with me and that God will see me through all of this because of Good Friday. In the midst of Good Friday, I can see God in the midst of suffering and humiliation and death, and recognizing that God doesn't back down. God is not defeated. Neither am I. God gets me, and I'm starting to get God. And soon, maybe very soon, I'll be ready for new life and resurrection. But for now, this is enough. Thanks be to God.
May the cross, a symbol of both suffering and transformation, be a guide in your journey towards the depths of self-discovery. As the cross stands tall, bearing witness to the weight of the world's struggles, may you too find strength in confronting your own challenges, recognizing that within them lies the potential for profound growth. In the shadow of the cross, may you discover the courage to face the complexities of your own being, embracing the paradoxes that make you uniquely human. May the wounds of the cross become windows through which the light of understanding streams into the depths of your soul, revealing the sacred interconnectedness of your experiences. As the power and mystery of the cross intersects with the wisdom that is being revealed to you, may you navigate the tensions of doubt and faith, finding in your struggles the raw material for a resilient and authentic spirituality. May you recognize the transformative power inherent in embracing the depth of your own suffering, allowing it to become a source of hope and renewal. May the benediction of the cross be a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is the potential for resurrection, a rebirth into a more authentic, compassionate, and integrated self. May you carry the wisdom of the cross with you on your journey, allowing it to illuminate your path and infuse your existence with meaning and purpose. Amen.